Welcome back to PPMA TV with Mark and Imaj, and joining us now from the Silverson stand is James. James, thank you very much indeed for taking time out to speak to us. Tell me a bit about Silverson.
Well, Silverson's quite a long-going company now. It's about 70 to 75 years old. Wow. Started off by a family, same family owns it today, and it basically came from a very old question of how we can mix things effectively. There is a lot of mixing applications where the conventional stirrer just doesn't quite cut it. So Silverson at the time pioneered a new approach of a high energy mixer that can incorporate different liquids, different viscosities, powders, all kinds of things. And it really does tear into so many different industries where they need to hit these hard applications with some proper mixing power. So
you brought some of your mixing machinery here to show people at the show. What have you brought? What are we looking at right now?
So what we're looking at here, this is a very classic Silverson mixer. So it's a rotor-stator high shear mixer. And this really is kind of the historical product of the company that we've been making for, the 70 plus years that the company's been around. The other products that we do, they vary from that. So of course, over the decades, the technology's grown, it's evolved. Yeah. We've got into new applications that we couldn't get to before. We've got new manufacturing techniques. Mm-hmm. And so now we've moved from this sort of conventional method to tackling really large batches where we can look at continuous manufacture. So inline mixers, where we can have a mixer in the pipeline that homogenizes as the liquid goes through, and you can incorporate powders, liquids, all kinds of different things. So, and that's really the new age of high shear mixing, I think, is where we scale up, we do things that we couldn't do before, and obviously there's a host of benefits that brings as well.
That's progress, isn't it? And speaking of progress, you've got some example of some other new products here on the stand, I think, that you're looking at sharing with us today.
That's right, so we can take a look at the smaller version. So this is an FMX5, and this is really, it's a benchtop version of a powder incorporator mixer that we do on the industrial scale. Okay. Nice for an exhibition because it's nice to have something that's easy to bring along and show everyone how it works. But what this is doing is it's now recirculating the fluid, and we can see that there's not a great amount of disruption to the vessel, very low air entrainment, anything like that. And so if you imagine, you can feed your powder into the hopper here, you open a valve there, and it produces a vacuum at the bottom of the hopper, pulls the powder in, and in seconds you can incorporate your powder, and it hits the high-speed rotor stator that we just talked about within less than a second. So instantly disperses that with high shear. At the moment we don't have any hopper in, so we don't have any powder in, so we just pull air in. So you can demonstrate how it works. If we open up the valve slightly there, you can see that vacuum get to work, and it just starts sucking the air through there. So you can imagine that would be a powder then, and you can put in thickeners, you can put in all these kind of challenging powders, and immediately it creates this nice homogeneous mixture which our customers are after.
And of course, hygienic, easy to clean, easy to service, and so on.
That's a good question, actually. Yeah, these are actually completely CIP-able. They've got EHED certification. You can put these in your normal CIP cycle, and they essentially clean themselves because it's a high shear area. Get your CIP fluid in there, and it cleans itself out.
Super stuff, super stuff. Anything? I mean, you've got a bottom entry mixer there. That looks like a serious bit of equipment. Not quite sure what we can see in there, but it certainly looks quite imposing.
Yeah, Silverson, with the amount of time that Silverson has, obviously a company that's been around 70 years, we're also the leader in terms of research and development for new ways of high energy, high shear mixing. And that sort of research and development has brought about different types of designs that use the same fundamental technology in different ways. And that can be beneficial for some vessels where, for example, you want to have a mixer that is actually submerged in the fluid at all times, where you want to incorporate it with a scrape surface agitator, things like that. A lot of the hygienic industries like these bottom entry mixers for those kind of benefits. But then more recently, things like the Ultramix machine, which is a lower shear mixer where you don't want to have that really aggressive mixing, but you do want to have very powerful mixing power, especially with containers like IBCs that are very difficult to get mixers into. The Ultramix has a very slim profile, and it's deceptive because for the size of the machine that it is, it can mix a very big amount of fluid. Yeah.
Good stuff. Thank you for sharing that with us, James. Before we wrap up, tell me how the show's been for you this year.
Well, PPMA historically is the one show in the UK especially that we just keep coming back to. We've obviously companies tried plenty of different shows. Some of them stick around, some of them, the benefit is there one year it's not. It's always a bit of a mixed bag, but thankfully PPMA is the one that we've never really missed it. We're always here, save for COVID and things like that maybe get in the way, but there's always it's a chance to meet our customers face to face. Thankfully, Silverson's in a position where most people who use high shear mixing, they know about Silverson anyway. But we don't always get a chance to see our customers face to face. And once a year, we see a lot of familiar faces. We also see other companies that we either work with or, it's always nice to rub shoulders with your competitors once a year as well and, share ideas. So, it's a really good show for us, and that's why we keep coming back.
And we hear that time and time again. It's not just about generating new business leads, and like you say, in a position like you're in, where maybe you've already got a good market penetration, you're already mixing quite well in the industry, but it's an opportunity to meet customers, meet competitors, and really just kind of tap into what's happening. James, terrific to chat to you. Thank you very much indeed for showing us around your product, and have a good rest of show.
Cheers, David. Thank you.
Cheers.